Monkey. Inspirational Saturdays and Supreme Vibes Radio. You don't know scene with Charlene Clark. You don't know scene 10 a.m. Eastern. You don't know quenchless until return. Inspirational Saturdays and Supreme Vibes Radio. You don't know Supreme Vibes Radio. Quenchless all the girls into. Girl, you got smile so bright. At night you don't need no light. Supreme ladies.
Home and away, home and away, home and away, home and away. So me I send that one straight from my heart, straight from my heart, straight from my heart. Charlene Clark, I send it straight.
In to the Supreme Vibes Radio this and every Sunday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for our new show, The Nightcap, with your host, Charlene Clark Cure. Yes, our new show, The Nightcap, promises to be a scintillating show to heighten your relationship appetite. Come and join in the conversation, share your experience, and let us learn from each other. That's The Nightcap, this and every Sunday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. You do not want to miss the show. Tune in right here on the Supreme Vibes Radio, your radio station of choice.
Now this is Lucian and the messenger. Remember, you're in tune to the Supreme Vibe Radio, keeping it supreme and clean. Music all day long. Stay tuned.
for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
To 9 p.m. for our new show, The Nightcap. Tune in to the Supreme Vibes Radio this and every Sunday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for our new show, The Nightcap, with your host, Charlene Clark Cura. Yes, our new show, The Nightcap, promises to be a scintillating show to heighten your relationship appetite. Come and join in the conversation, share your experience, and let us learn from each other. That's The Nightcap, this and every Sunday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. You do not want to miss the show. Tune in right here on the Supreme Vibes Radio, your radio station of choice.
Charlene Clark is on the radio. Whoa. Charlene Clark is on the radio. Whoa. Charlene Clark is on the radio. Whoa.
Home and away, home and away, home and away, home and away. So me I send that one straight, straight from my heart, straight from my heart, straight from my heart. Charlene Clark, I send it straight, straight from her heart. Yeah, man, get alone, not alone. A little era talk. I listen to Charlene Clark and the Nightcap Show and Supreme Vibes Radio. Lock it. She got it.
Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the author and guests to the show and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the radio station. Assumptions made in the discussions are not reflective of the position of any entity other than the author and the guest, and since we are critically thinking human beings, these views are always subject to change, revision, and rethinking at any time. Please do not hold us to them in perpetuity.
And this is Lucian and the Messenger. Remember, you're in tune to the Supreme Vibe Radio, keeping it supreme and clean. Music all day long. Stay tuned.
Inspirational Saturdays on Supreme Vibes Radio. You don't know scene with Charlene Clark. You don't know scene 10 a.m. Eastern. You don't know quenchless until we turn. Girl, you got smile so bright. At night you don't need no light. Inspiration ladies. Slide the way. Quenchless. Big up, scene. Yeah, boom.
I is a Rastafari and I. Please won't you hear me when I cry? Send down your angels just to save us. Blessed love, this is Dwayne Stevenson. You're listening to Supreme Vibe Radio. See me, I say, don't change that dial.
Tune in to the Supreme Vibes Radio this and every Sunday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for our new show, The Nightcap, with your host, Charlene Clark Cure. Yes, our new show, The Nightcap, promises to be a scintillating show to heighten your relationship appetite. Come and join in the conversation, share your experience, and let us learn from each other. That's The Nightcap, this and every Sunday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. You do not want to miss the show. Tune in right here on the Supreme Vibes Radio, your radio station of choice. Yes, listeners, again, welcome. We had a little glitch just now and I had to fix it. Yes. All right, so welcome to the Nightcap program with your girl, Charlene Clark Cura. Of course, tonight's program will be about varying topics, not just one thing, so we invite you to stick and stay. Now, before I start the show, I'd like to say thank you to all our listeners globally, near and far. Without you, this show would not be possible. And to all our new listeners who were joining us for the first time, I want to say welcome to the Supreme Vibes Radio, your radio station of choice. We hope you will stick and stay with us. For those persons who have joined me on YouTube Live, thank you for joining me on Design to Inspire. I hope you will stick and stay, and at the end you'll be inspired. Please, listeners and viewers, do remember to participate in tonight's show. You may WhatsApp you may text me or WhatsApp call me on the number 1-876-367-0127. There you can share your experience. There you can participate in tonight's discussion. Also, do remember that we have varying programs to keep you entertained, motivated, and inspired. Of course, we also have our live DJs who plays at varying time. Do remember to download the app from the Google App Store, or you may go on to supremevibesradio.com in order to participate in the various activities. Note that we are here to entertain as well. Now, listeners, viewers, welcome. It's a beautiful Sunday. It's a beautiful Sunday night. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. It's a beautiful Sunday evening, wherever you are. It's a beautiful day. It's beautiful because we are alive. We have life. Now, for tonight, what I want to what I want to start off with is, when we enter in relationship, we enter with that bliss. We enter with the hope that the relationship will last for a lifetime. Yes, naturally, that's why we enter in the relationship. We do not enter relationships because we're thinking of, the fact that it might only last for 10 years, 5 years, 1 month, and we're good with that. We enter because, we're in love, whatever reason, but we're looking forward to growing old together. But oftentimes there are reasons for the relationship to fall apart, and for whatever reasons, sometimes that's just the reality. The relationship ends. Now, what happens during the moment or during the separation period. Now I'm talking about, well, not just persons who are married, but I'm talking about persons who have been together for a very long time, right? What happens during the transition of us separating? Now, in a separation, there are many things that happen, and it depends on the individuals. It also depends on, what is really at stake. And by that, what I mean is the investments, because together we would have invested, and so we want to separate with an understanding as to where we go, how we move forward, even though we're separating, but we do have investments. And sometimes the interest in the investment supersede the interest in the children, because you might have children in the relationship prior to separation, but partners are focusing most on the investment, especially that it at most times, and men, please do not take this up with me after the show, and that is why I say at most times. My disclaimer is I have not done any research. I'm saying at most times based on my observation and my engagement. So at most times it's the female who is left with the children. So, the investment together becomes the priority. How are we going to deal with this? Because obviously, we already know how the children will be dealt with. Yes, the wife or the ex-wife or the ex-girlfriend will be, keeping the children or the child. Fine. Now, you see, there are various reasons for persons to separate, right? And as I've said before and will continue to say, nothing is perfect. No situation is perfect. And because nothing is perfect, that is why we have challenges and we have to work through them, right? It's how we compromise. It's what we can accept in the relationship or what we can really bear in the relationship. And then again, it depends on the foundation upon which this particular relationship was built. Right? Welcome, Mark. The topic tonight really is relationship and separation and how we deal with this separation process. All right? Welcome and thank you for joining, Mark. No, as I said before, it depends on the individuals who are involved. I do not understand or I cannot fathom to this point how love turns into hate, right? And if in a split second, what do I mean? So you are married, you are in a relationship, a long-term relationship. I think it is called common law relationship. These relationships are relationships that last, I think, over 5 years and more, but you are not married. You have not gone before. You're welcome, Mark. You have not gone before a pastor. You have not taken an oath. So you're not married, but you have been together from Jesus was a child, right? And so common law relationships, relationship where you are married to the individual and you're in love and you want to be with each other and you share things. And so when the relationship becomes sour, the love turns immediately into hate. No. The foundation is what will determine how we separate, if we have to separate. Now, if you have a weak foundation, then everything will just come crumbling in, because it means that you would not have entered the relationship with love, trueness of love. Or let me rephrase that. Oftentimes, one person is more in love than the other, or one person's modus operandi is not known to the other partner. So while I might be in love and over the moon, the other person is in the relationship because of various reasons, which I'm not really going to get in, because I think episode 3 or so I spoke about that. So the foundation is already weak, right? You already enter with a tug-of-war situation, an invisible one, because He's tugging on love, you're tugging on material things, invisible, right? Because it's not aware. I mean, he's not aware that you are just being materialistic, females, and if the female is aware that he's in love. So, I mean, it's like a tug-of-war situation, happening. And so when that happens, what it means is that at the end of the road, because there is an end, at the end of the road, you're going to have chaos and mayhem and hate. Now, if you enter your relationship with the pureness of love, right, what it means, if that moment comes where you have to separate, you separate in a civil way, because you do not necessarily have to hate the person for a separation to happen, you can honestly realize that you are both uneven yoked. You are not on the same level. It doesn't mean that I have to hate you to realize that we are not on the same level, right? And so when you realize that you entered a relationship because both of you truly loved each other and thought that this could possibly work, you recognize that in the middle of the relationship, which could be about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, you realize that, listen, I cannot go any further because I realize that we're uneven yoked. And so we are going to sit at the table and decide how we're going to separate. In that moment, there's no need for you to hate each other. You do not have to hate to disagree. Amicably, you can say, well then, let us look at what we have before us and let us separate. All right? There are mechanisms or mechanism that is put in place for some states, let me say that, for some states that will protect the man and the woman. If you have assets prior to the marriage, then you can sign a prenup. Now, when you say prenup, a lot of people, especially females don't hold anything against me. Again, I've not done any survey on this. It's just based on my observation. They become defensive. If you love me, why then do I have to sign a prenup? I shouldn't have to sign a prenup because you love me. Now, a prenup, what it really means is, in my term, is whatever asset that I have prior to meeting you, prior to becoming your wife, if we should separate, those assets belongs to me. And the same for you. So what you will be entitled to, should there be a separation, is what we would have built together. So let's say I had 10 houses before you enter my relationship, right? What it means is that when we separate, my 10 house that you saw me with, you came in the relationship with me and saw me with, you leave me with those. But let's say during the relationship together, we were able to buy 5 more homes. It means that, well, those would be, we will have to share those, right? But what I had before you enter the relationship stays with me. Not in all states, because I don't think that is so in Florida. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, right? It means that when we get married, if we have been in a relationship for a long period where we're living in the same home, if we decide to separate, then it should split down the middle. Right? Quite a number of persons really do not believe in such. But you find, gone were the days when prenup was something that was just mentioned when you hear the story of, let's say, a superstar. Now you find more and more regular persons who have assets, opting for this because of the fact that they've heard many horror stories. We have heard many horror stories. And in truth and in fact, persons would say to you, listen, I do not subscribe to the fact that I would have worked hard, years hard, entering a relationship with all that I had before you, right? continue to work hard, and now we're in a relationship together and we're building together, and now we decide to separate, you should get half of what I had prior to you. A number of persons would say they disagree. Now, listeners, you can tell me, viewers, you can tell me, type in the chat, do you believe that a woman or a man, and I say both because it doesn't necessarily mean that it's only the man who will pay alimony, right? No, you tell me if you believe that whatever I have, let's say I am the person who, has more assets, and my husband now decide that he wants to separate. Prior to us meeting, I had my assets. Is he entitled to half of what I had before we met, before we got married? Is he entitled to that? Let me see just here. Let me do a little poll just here to ascertain whether or not, person believe this is fair. So a prenup now would be that document that, both partners would sign to say, well, then what is mine before you. What is yours before me. But whatever it is, whatever it is that we would have worked on together, would have built together, it belongs to both of us if we should separate. That is exactly what it is. Now, I have had discussion, I've had chats with some females, right, who have had to sign documents like these, and many of them say to me that it was not that they wanted to, but because they want to be in the relationship, that is why they sign it, because in truth and in fact they don't believe in it, because they are honest. They're not entering the relationship to separate. They're entering the relationship to be together. What they also told me is that, listen, after signing this document, I have a different view about this man. And I'm going to talk, after the break, I'm going to take another twist, but let me just introduce it just a little bit. After signing this document, I have a different view about my husband. Is it that he doesn't trust me? Is it that he's planning on leaving me, right? Is he a mean person, right? And so signing this document also is telling me that I should protect myself. So they become protective. How? So what they begin to do now is that they have bank accounts. And sometimes I'm not going to go deep in this because I'm going to pick it up after the break. What they do is save separately, unbeknownst to the man. So he would not know that there is a saving. Now listen, you see this saving is not necessarily her money that she worked. It's money that she would have gotten from her husband that becomes her little prenup revenge. Right? So that is like a revenge savings account, because since you want me to sign a prenup, right, I now feel as though, okay, you're saying, okay, I want you to be in the relationship, but I'm not going to share my assets with you if we separate. So I am going to take my own silent revenge. So in case you have something planned up your sleeve, because some women think that the man have something planned. They do, right? They think that it's a plan. They just want me for a moment in time, and then they spit me out. And so when they're spitting me out, they want to ensure that, I get nothing. And so they think it's a plan. And so they now decide that they are going to take their revenge by having their revenge account. Right? Now, all the monies that would go into that account would be monies that they would have gotten from the man. And we're going to talk about that. Now, is it hi Brown, welcome? Is it fair? My question before the break is we're coming right up to the break now. Is it fair, and I want to see you answering, is it fair for a relationship to end where either party, whichever, right, gets half of everything, whether it is before the relationship or after the relationship? Is it fair for that individual to get half of everything? Matters not when the assets were acquired. We come back after this short break. I want to hear your views on that. Text me right here in the chat for those of you who are on the YouTube live. And for those of you who are on the radio, of course, you know the number 1-876-367-0127. WhatsApp me there. Let us share. We take our very first break. Please do not go anywhere. We'll be right here. Now, for viewers on YouTube, you know there is copyright law. I'll be playing some music, so I'm going to put you on mute for a while. But please do not go anywhere. I will be right back. Stay right here.
I'm so in love with you.
Welcome back to my viewers. Thank you for sticking and staying right here. Now, before the break, I mentioned that some females, what they do in return, well, I call it the revenge account, is to open an account to say, well then, all right, since I have to sign a prenup, I'm going to do certain things behind your back because it seems as though you have something up your sleeves. Now, females, what you need to understand is, and let me make it clear because I did get some messages that it's not only males who have to pay, females pay too. It depends on who has the most asset. I know, right? But most times it's the females who normally gets this alimony. Now, females, if you decide that this is how you're going to react to the fact that you were asked to sign a prenup, there is going to be some challenges in the relationship, right? If you can agree with me, right? Or of course you can disagree with me. Here's where I'm going. Trust should be a part of the foundation. You know, like when you're building a house with bricks and cement and sand and stone, there you have to have those things in order to have a good, strong foundation. So trust enables a strong foundation in your relationship. And when things start to happen like that, what it means is that the trust is dwindling. Trust is not just about, whether or not the man is cheating or the woman is cheating. Trust encompasses a number of things, such as clarity in the relationship, openness in the relationship, honesty in the relationship. There are persons who would say, well then listen, you can't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. Well, to each his own, but I don't believe in that. Again, it's my opinion. Your opinion, it might be different, and we can share together and disagree or agree, right? But I don't believe in that, and here is where I'm going. If you decide that you're going to enter the relationship and you're going to have separate accounts or secret accounts, secret houses, secret property, whatever it is, right? Secret children, right? What it means is that should there be a problem in the relationship, or let's say, God forbid, one of you pass, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? What is going to happen is probably the city or the country gets, your asset out of the fact that you decide that you're going to keep this a secret, or somebody who is not deserving of it would get this asset. Or let's say you're terminally ill. Right? Before death, you decide that, okay, I'm still not going to let him know that I have millions of dollars because I decided to have my revenge account because I had to sign a prenup. I still don't want him to know because I trust in God, and in God we trust, and I shall rise and I shall live. And even while in hospital, he's spending all this money, selling the properties, doing everything, pulling the children from universities. They have to, find other ways because money is becoming small, right? He decided, okay, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to let him know. And then tomorrow, there's no more you. He's left broken and broke, and you're gone with millions in the account that he doesn't know about. And so because of this trust issue in the relationship, you find that it surmounts into something bigger, that could have been dealt with in the earlier stage. Where am I going? I sound crazy, don't I? But there's a method to my madness. Again, do understand that a relationship should be built on trust. Now, when we decide that we have to do things separately because we don't want our right hand, which can be the husband or the wife, to know what we're doing, it means that you did not enter the relationship with a pure heart. As with everything, there are rules and regulations that are placed. If you're driving, there are rules and regulations that you have to abide by. That is why you have speed limits and you have the various road code. If you are employed, there are rules and regulations that you have to. If you have to go to church, you still have to follow rules and regulations to say hallelujah, I praise God. You have to follow some rules and regulations, because if you backslide, they put you at the back bench or whatever it is. I don't know what they're doing now, but I know they used to do that. They put you on the back bench. So there are rules and regulations. What we need to understand is this. Rules and regulations were made because we are not naturally obeying beings. So rules and regulations were made because of that reason. How do I tie it into what I'm saying? No, the prenup came about, however long it came about, because it was realized that persons were suffering at the hands of other persons when there is a separation in the relationship, which was considered to be dishonesty. Now, if you enter a relationship and you realize that this person has most asset or more assets, and when you decide that, okay, when there's a decision for both of you now to separate, you want half of everything, that's dishonesty. So some smart person decide that, listen, to mitigate against this or minimize or control somewhat, put in some sort of control mechanism, let us derive a prenup so that persons can, leave a relationship fairly. So just as you have regulations that was born out of the fact that we do not naturally obey rules, it's the same thing with the prenup. So ladies, what we need to do is to understand that when we enter a relationship, if our partner asks us to sign a prenup, then it's not because he's not trusting us. It's not because he has modus operandi or he's planning on leaving us. It's not because he's dishonest. It's because of the fact that some smart person decide that this would be the document, this would be the law, this would be the rule that will protect the individual from being mistreated even after the end of a relationship. You may agree or disagree, right? And so we must accept the fact that just as we are ready to say, well then, through sickness and health, we have to, it's a discussion that should be had before, right? When you meet someone, when you decide that it is time to take that step, there are certain things that you have to discuss because things are going to be, somewhat permanent now. It's not like you're single and dating, or it's not like you're common law. You can just say bye tomorrow. We don't have to go through any paperwork or anything. Bye. You're getting married now. You're taking an oath. Right? And so things are going to be different. People ought not to be different, So it's not like, okay, I'm married now, I own the person. But things are going to be different. Now you are bonding in a different way. And so some discussion you must have before you take that step. And I believe that this is one of the discussion that should be had. So you look at, no, two poor people can't sit down and both them go sign prenup. No, so if you're poor, there's no need for that. What am I going to get when you left me, or what you are going to get when me left you? Okay, that's my dialect coming out. If you don't understand, text me and I can translate. Right? So if both of you are not, financially stable in a way where, you don't want to lose, there's no need for a prenup. So I don't want anybody to be thinking, okay, can I sign a prenup for my... No, we're talking about, if you have amassed certain amount of asset, right? And so that's a discussion that you should have before you enter the relationship. Now, this is where issues also, we have issues in the relationship too, because sometimes it is not the decision of the individual who is requesting the prenup to be signed. It is not his or her decision. Sometimes it's the decision of the parents or somebody in the family that person would trust, would say, listen, I understand that you love this person and you want to be with this person, but I think it's best for you to sign a prenup so that you can protect yourself should, things go haywire. When it is not the decision of the partner, when it becomes the decision of a family member or that well-trusted friend, then you will have more problems, because it would seem though that this person is being guided. This person is, it causes more problems, because it could be seen as, vindictiveness, or, because I'm not liked, or something of the sort. So it's a discussion that should be had when that moment comes, when you decide that you're going to get married. No, yes, I hear you. Most times we don't know. Most times, the engagement is a surprise. But you don't engage today and marry tomorrow, unless you're me. I think I'm the only one who did that in the world, right? So you don't engage today and get married tomorrow, right? You have that moment. But I can tell you that all discussions were had before, because when you're serious about an individual, you want to know about the person. You want the person to know about you. So certain things you're going to talk about, even during the moment you're courting, you're dating, you're going to have that discourse. You're going to have those type of discussion, just to, understand each other. So by the time the engagement come around, you'd have known half of the things. So at that moment when you decide that you're going to walk down the aisle together, before you walk, before you buy the fandangles or whatever it is, right? Before you buy the outfits, before you do the invitations, you have to have this type of discussion, gentlemen. If you will require your partner to sign a prenup, she has to know before and not be surprised, just as how you would have surprised her with the engagement, because it means that she would have had that opportunity to appreciate where you're coming from. And even in having that type of discussion, you're not going to use example like, okay, my friend, suffered at the hands of his ex-wife. He had to sell the house, or he had to move out of the house, and the cabin that he had, she got it, and this business, she got it, and so he's starting from scratch and his life is over. You don't want to have the discussion like that, because what you're saying is that you don't trust the woman, and so you have doubts. So you're not entering the relationship. You're not entering the relationship with your own baggage. You're entering the relationship with someone else's baggage to say, well, that, I am doing this because my friend went through this, and so I want to protect myself because I don't want to end up like my friend. No, that's not how you want to start off with the discussion. As a matter of fact, that's not how you want to even engage the individual. It's just to say, well, then, fairly, I believe this is the best way, and whatever, you can text me privately when that time comes, and I can guide you, right? But you should talk and let each person, let me repeat. You should have that discourse so that both of you will be able to appreciate the process, right? So that's it. I had to talk about prenup. It just came to me because over the weekend I've had some discussion and I've heard some things, and I'm like saying no, and I've had to, somewhat counsel someone who was very distressed because of the prenup, and she was saying, well, then this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going all the money that I work, I'm going to save that, and whatever money is giving to me, I'm going to ensure that is the money that is used for everything, and I'm going to save from that as well, and a whole lot of confusion because she was asked to sign a prenup, and she thought that a prenup is a punishment. All right. Remember, if you need to share your views, those who are on YouTube Live, you may do so in the chat. Those who are listening from the Supreme Vibes Radio, your radio station of choice, you may WhatsApp me at 367-0127. Now, if you recognize that the individual that you are now going to say, I do too, the individual that you're now going to say, you're forever too. And, forever is still temporary. Here on earth, forever is temporary, right? So that individual, you should be in a position to make a determination if this is really the right person for you, right? And at that point, you should be asking yourselves, some questions, right? You should be asking yourselves some questions, right, as it relates to what you want, what you desire from the relationship, and how this person has been treating you or meeting you halfway or three-quarter way, whatever, and whether or not there are certain things you can live with in the relationship. I've had discussions about this somewhat, but I didn't really get deep into it, right? Know that, again, this is my opinion, but know that people are just. We are just based on our surroundings. And so we don't necessarily change permanently, right? So it's more of an adjustment. So if we recognize that in this time and space right now, this is what I have to be so that things can work, things can run smoothly, then we adjust. It's just like going to church and going to work. The you going to church is different from the you going to work because you adjust to the environment for whatever it is, because at that moment, that is what the environment dictates. So you adjust to the environment, you know. It's the same thing in a relationship. So you adjust because of what the relationship is. So if you behave a particular way prior to the relationship, and this is the individual that you want to call your husband or your wife, and he or she is not particularly inclined to certain things that you're doing or a certain attitude that you have, then you adjust, right? You adjust. Or some of us, we call it something. It will come to me, right? So do not enter and say, well then listen, I know I can change him, or I know I can change her. You don't have that power. You don't have that power. None of us have that power to change anyone, you know. We don't. We think we do, but we don't. He has never met a woman like me. I am from Jamaica. Jamaican women are the best. I can cook, I can clean, I can wash. Yeah, but you have restaurants. You have good washing machines. You have a house aides. He probably don't really want you to do those things. So that can't change him. Or I'm good in when the bedroom door is closed, I'm good in that department. So what? You know, that is why I say to individual, listen, don't cry over these things and don't compare yourself, because as good as you think you are, someone is better out there. As beautiful as you think you are, as handsome as you think you are, just look out yonder. You will find someone who looks better than you do. So don't compare. So don't use those things and believe that, listen, I will enter the relationship even though I know this is what he wants, this is what he desires, this is what he will do because he had this discussion with me prior. I'm still going to say yes, I'm still going to marry him because I have the power to change him. If we really had the power to change anybody, let's go back a little bit. There will be no need for rules and regulations. There will be no need for a prenup. It's because we don't have the power. We don't have the power to change individuals. An individual change if they see the need to change, not because we want them to change. Yes, we can engage. Yes, we can inspire. Yes, we can motivate, all of what I do. But then until that individual see the need for a change, that individual will not change, might not change. As a matter of fact, it means too that it depends on the individual that you are with. You might be working your entire life to motivate, inspire, engage, to have the individual adapt to the new prescribed method. Your prescribed method, that is, of how to operate. You might be working. So by the time they decide that they're going to adapt, you are just torn, tired, drained. You have no energy left. So until the individual is ready for a change or believes that there need to be a change, that is why in Jamaica we say bend the tree when it young. You can't bend the tree when it old. Yes, it means that when an individual is younger, that's when you put in the principles and rules and whatever it is, so that the person will grow up in a particular way. And even then, it is not, it might not happen, because environment too has an impact on the individual. So do not enter the relationship knowing that these are the requirements of the individual. Whether it's a man entering and having to sign a prenup, or the woman entering and having to sign a prenup. Don't enter the relationship thinking that, okay, it is what it is for now, and I will change him, or he will change her, right? Don't enter like that. Accept for what I always say. Listen, when you recognize who the individual really is, don't think otherwise. Right? The individual show you who he is. The individual show you who she is. Do not think otherwise. Oh no, that's not who she really is. I think, she's just putting up a front. Right? Do not fool yourselves. So if those are the requirements, accept it for what it is. If during the relationship the individual see and decide that, listen, I don't think this is necessary anymore, amen. Yes, but don't think that you have that power to change an individual from what they desire. Now we take our final break. When I return, I will wrap up with you. I hope you're enjoying the show. Please do stick and stay right here. I will be taking a short music break, that is. Go nowhere. I'll be right back, right here on the Supreme Vibes Radio, your radio station of choice. Al Green. Okay, welcome back, and thank you for those person who stick and stayed. Thank you for sticking and staying right here on the Supreme Vibes Radio, your radio station of choice. You're in tune to the Nightcap program with yours truly, Charlene Clark Cura. Yes, welcome. Now, as we close off, I want to mention a few things as it relates to some of the feedback that I've gotten from the listeners. My listeners are the best, and this person is from Texas. Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Supreme Vibes Radio. And he says, a prenup becomes necessary when persons enter in a relationship without trust. Thank you for sharing, and to all the listeners in Texas, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the Nightcap program. We appreciate you. Yes, we do. He says a prenup becomes necessary when people enter in a relationship without trust. See, that is the problem that we have. Well, let me rephrase. Problem might sound too strong of a word. That is the issue. You see, many of us, we think that a prenup is a problem, right? A prenup means distrust, and I made mention of it before the break. No, thank you for sharing, but in my opinion, a prenup is not necessarily, does not mean that there won't be trust in the relationship. Okay. How can I put this now? You have a car, right? So you buy your car and you want to ensure that if anything goes wrong with the car is insured, and so you will be able to make a claim on the insurance. And so what you do is to purchase insurance. Now, you do have persons who purchase a car and refuse to insure the vehicle. Now, what it means is that if that person have an accident, then it means that there's nothing for them to get from insurance. They would have to fix the car out of pocket. Or let's say the person had an accident in your vehicle. There's nothing for you to get because the person's vehicle was not insured. So let's look at the prenup in that sense. So it means that if an individual decide that they want their partner to have a prenup, it means okay, it means that they are protecting themselves. You understand what I'm saying? It's like the insurance of the vehicle. So if there is an end in the relationship, it means that they would not be left on their faces. Or if yes, basically that's it. So if there is an end in the relationship, they will not be left dry. Have you ever heard some of the horror stories? Have you? I've heard them. I've heard some, and I'm sure there are more devastating stories out there that I'm yet to learn, right? So that is the true essence of, persons wanting their partner to sign a prenup. It's just align it with insuring your car, and then you will understand the concept a little bit, better. Let's go to another. I'm not going to read all of these because we have passed the time. Yes, but let's go to another message that I really will read for you. Good night, Charlene. I always enjoy your show. Well then, thank you for listening. This person is in Chicago. Welcome, and thank you. If this is your first time, welcome. If you are a regular listener, thank you. Either way, we appreciate you. All my listeners out there in Chicago, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining. Do remember that you can also join me on YouTube at Designed to Inspire with Charlene Clark Cura. There you can get access to some very motivating, inspirational videos that I think would do you well as well. So this person says, I do not see the challenge with having someone signing a prenup. it is the individual's choice. However, if you are not ready for marriage, if you are not in agreement with the prenup, then you have a choice. Well, what this sounds like, and if you're still on, you can clarify. What this sounds like to me is that the person is saying, thank you though, thank you for participating. What this sounds like to me is that the person is saying, well, if you don't want to sign the prenup, bye-bye. No compromising here, just bye-bye. I don't know, but then that's a good question. What if this person that you love so much and you want to get married to decide that they're not going to sign the prenup? Is it really a bye-bye, or do you have further engagement? I don't know. What do we do? I don't know. I just don't know. What would you do, listeners and viewers, if you decide that an individual would have to sign a prenup, for you to get married and live happily ever after, if there is ever such a thing, all right? And the person decide that they're not going to sign the prenup, what would you do? Would it be okay? Bye. Would that be the straw that would break the camel's back? I don't know. But thank you for participating. Let me read one more. And if I didn't read yours, next week I will. Just join me right here, and I'm sure that I'll pick up from there. And this person says, good night, nice show, I enjoyed the show. Trust, as you say, trust is a foundation, and my phone is still going off. Trust is a foundation of a relationship. However, if there is no trust, then you have to put in other things to ensure that you protect yourself. Thank you for participating. This person didn't say where they're texting from, I'm not so sure, but thank you for participating. I don't know what to say about that. Again, in my opinion, if you enter the relationship with that thought that you have to protect yourself, then you need not enter in such a relationship. It's not that you're going to enter the relationship as though you are clueless or naive, or yes, you're going to have your head on your body. However, if you are going to enter the relationship with just the thinking that, okay, I have to protect myself, you're not entering a relationship, you're entering a battlefield. And that's exactly what you're preparing for. You're preparing for a battle. No. So I don't think a prenup should be viewed in that way, where you have to enter because welcome from